I think that we might be live right now. I'm not sure. Stop trying to get me to turn on mid-rolls. I don't want to turn on mid-rolls during a live stream. Okay. YouTube Studio looks like it is up and running. Although I really wish this would just stay. Maybe if I just make it wider. And then make this over here. There we go. That's a little bit better. Join. Hey, Andrew, how's it going, man? Hey, Sheddies, how's it going? Good to see you all. Showing up to a live stream that I did not tell anybody that I was going to do. And that's because I didn't know that I was going to do it. It's been a long time. I got to turn this down. It's been a long time since I have sat down and just done a live stream chatting with you guys. And it's something that I really, really enjoy doing, but I honestly, I just don't have enough time in the day to do that and make videos. But I had an entire video that I kind of wrote, and then I was just like, I don't really feel like talking about that right now. So I decided instead of sitting down and recording that video, I would just chat with you guys. I look like I've got a sweet longshoreman look today. Thank you, Grand Moff Porkins. That's a great name, by the way. PNL, hello, Bill. How are you? I'm doing great. Thank you. Andrew, didn't expect a live. Wouldn't be able to stay long, but interested to pop in. I will say that this will be short because we're going to trivia tonight. And, you know, so as soon as my wife gets home, maybe before that, I got to hop off and get ready to go so we can go have some pizza and answer some trivia questions poorly. Sometimes going live is the best, like, because when I just put out a video, like, I can't get the real-time feedback that I used to get all the time when I used to stream on Twitch, and I would talk about, like, I would just sit down and chat about all of the stuff, all of the video game news, and turn it into a podcast. And oh my God, YouTube, stop telling me now would be a good time to insert ads. But I'm just going to show you guys what YouTube is constantly trying to show me. You can't see it because my face is in the way. This is so irritating. Right here. Now would be a good time to insert ads. No, it wouldn't be a good time to insert ads. I just started the stream. Editing is a lot of work. You know what? So here's the thing, Mephisto, and hopefully I said your name right. Editing is a lot of work, but there's a big but here. Not my butt. I got no butt. It's just straight down. But editing is a lot of work, but I really enjoy doing it. Like the process of going through and figuring out all of the things that I want to do on the timeline and, you know, learning the software. That is very, very enjoyable to me. That's right, Andrew. Now would be a good time for YouTube to make more money. I mean, look, I'm not going to lie. I like inserting ads into my videos because then I make a little bit of extra scratch. You know, helps me. My wife and I just bought 2 cars. Well, she bought a car. I leased a car. Because she drives way more than I do, and so it didn't make sense for her to buy a car. But that stuff's expensive, and you know, I work on teacher's pay. So what has everybody been up to? Hey, look at that, Angel Live for the $5. Thank you for all the work you do. Keep up the hard work and good luck on trivia. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Angel Live, for that $5 super chat. That's cool. I like the updates that YouTube has done to chat on their live streams. I think that they've really improved it, honestly. YouTube needs to make more money so that you can earn less money. Thanks, Google. No, I mean, listen, I'm not going to get into specific numbers, but YouTube has absolutely changed my life. What kind of cars? So I'm gonna out myself as somebody who knows jack shit about cars. I don't know anything about cars. Mine is a Subaru. Hers is also a Subaru. I cannot even remember. Crosstrack, Subaru Crosstrack, I think. See you later, Andrew. Thanks for stopping by. Treble Champ, did you try for a 50 series? No, I did not try to get a 50 series. It's too much money. Spending $2,000 on a graphics card, not something I can really swing as a teacher. Shouldn't I be in school? My work day's over. Crosstrek, yes, there you go. Star Trek. Blue Broham, I spent a whole year putting together a whole new build connected to gaming TVs, and it all came together just in time for the Wilds beta test. Very excited. I applied to the Wilds beta test yesterday. I have not received an email to say that I was in. I did run my ROG Nook, which is, it's like a very, very small form factor desktop. It's a laptop PC, but not in the laptop form factor. And I got it hooked up to my TV over there. And I ran the benchmark for Monster Hunter Wilds. And at 1440p high settings, if I'm remembering correctly, I was averaging somewhere around 70 frames per second. By the way, how does this look, by the way? Because I am streaming at 4K, 30 frames per second, 20,000 kilobits per second using, I think I'm using the AV1 codec. Let me look. Yes, I'm using the AOM AV1 codec. And I just want to know, how does it look? Does it look okay to you? How does it sound? Is the music audible? Can you hear the music? Is my voice getting through the music, or do I need to crank the music up a little bit? Let me know. P&L just sent in a super chat. They said, I really like your work. Keep it up. Thank you so much, P&L. I appreciate you. Alan Settle says, your podcast is my all-time favorite. All you guys are awesome. Thank you. I really enjoy doing the podcast. I gotta tell you all that all right, I'll turn the music down just a little bit. All right. I got to tell you all. So I had another podcast. NerdNest podcast has not been my only podcast. It started out as the Nintendo Switchcraft podcast. And then when I got sick of talking about Nintendo stuff, I basically stopped doing that podcast. And then when I decided to start the NerdNest podcast, which is just general gaming, not just one subject, I just put it on that same podcast feed. But I have another podcast that that I had done in the past, and there's 50 episodes of it. It's an audio only podcast. It's called 143 Pixels, and the idea behind the podcast, let me just move this to where I can see it. The idea behind the podcast is that each episode I bring on a friend, and that friend and I talk about a game that they love. It could be an old game, it could be a new game. And I've got 50 episodes that I had recorded and published, and it's out there. People can find it. But when I did that, I didn't know much about YouTube. And I think that YouTube is a better place for me to put that podcast. The only issue is that podcast is an audio only podcast. So I don't have any video of me talking to the other people. So I've been toying with the idea of making a new podcast it's not really a new podcast. It's 143 pixels, bringing it back and doing interviews like that, but this time recording video. And then in addition to that, taking those 50 episodes and putting them up on YouTube with video of the game that we're talking about. So if we're talking about EverQuest, for example, I need to go out and get an hour of EverQuest B-roll and put it on top of my video, on top of the podcast, so that people can check that out. So it's definitely something that I don't remember why I started talking about this. I think somebody just mentioned the podcast. It's definitely something that I think I want to do. It's just, I got to find 50 hours. I got to find 50 hours of gameplay, which is a lot. And that means I got to sit down and play those games for an hour each, because I don't have just the my face and my guest's face talking. Christopher Ortega says, speaking of old podcasts, what happened to Lloyd? He retired from podcasting. He decided he wanted to focus on spending more time with his family and less time talking to me. And I do not blame him even a little. And there's definitely been times in the recent history, in the recent past, that I've been jealous, because, making this YouTube channel is a lot of work. More Beta Prince. Your beard is in 4K glory on the stream. Oh, thanks, Beta Prince. McFisto, is AV1 a relatively new codec? It's not necessarily that it's a new codec. It's that I don't believe you were able to stream using AV1 to YouTube until, I don't want to say recently, but not since the last time that I really did live streams. Treble Champ says, which handheld am I spending most of my time with? Right now, it's the ROG Ally X running Bazite, but I also play on the Steam Deck. And of course, I know it's not a popular answer, but this thing right here, the Pocket DMG, I freaking love this thing. It's so nice. I like it a lot. It's real good. And I play tons of retro games on here. Here you go. Great system. Skylar says, hi, do you have a gaming laptop or always Steam Deck on the go? I gotta be honest, I don't really play games outside this room. Most of the time, if I'm playing a game, it's either on that TV, which you guys can't see. I can move this. It's on this TV over here. Where is it? Right there. It's on that TV. Or it's on either the Steam Deck or the ROG Ally. The NerdNest Dadcast is probably already a lot of work. Couldn't imagine starting another one at the same time. The amount of work that would go into making a one-on-one conversation podcast once a week, not nearly as much once I get it streamlined. I've been podcasting for a long time, and so I can spin things up pretty quick. Chalice DJ says, my ROG Ally's joystick only moves up and down. Do you think I have to send it in to get a repair? I mean, you don't have to. That being said, I think that if you want to replace the joysticks in the ROG Ally, is it the Ally or the Ally X? I can't remember. If you want to replace the joysticks in the Ally X, it's not hard. It's actually really, really easy. And, they have the parts available, I believe, through, what's the name of the company that makes the King Kong controller? I cannot think of the name of that. Gully Kit. They sell replacement sticks. Hey there, James. How's it going? Man, I got James from an educational space. I have Central Deck from Brazil, Justin Harvey from Australia. Guys and ladies, this is an international stream. RJFNC says Bill nailed it. The streaming sites like Twitch just started supporting it, which is why GPUs starting supported the codec. Yes, that's all true. Although I'm streaming this on my MacBook Pro, so I'm currently streaming this on a Mac, and yes, it has a GPU, obviously, but not like an NVIDIA kind of GPU anyway. Rue Arnold says, I've said it once and I'll say it again. We need 143 pixels back. Loving your work, Bill. Well, thank you very much for the kind words, Rue. I will say that of all of the podcasts that I've made, my favorite one to make was 143 pixels. I had so much fun talking about a bunch of different games that I never even touched. And the reason I stopped is because nobody was listening to it. Have I ever cooked any of Russ's recipes? I wouldn't do that to Russ. Like, I feel like if I cooked one of Russ's recipes, I would ruin it. I cannot cook. I burn or I undercook. Those are the only two options when it comes to me, except when I'm cooking on the grill. Texas, I was stationed in Texas, Chris, when I was in the Army, and I was, and Blue Broham, I was stationed in Missouri when I was in the Army as well. All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stand up. Second. There we go. I was sitting for too long. Tried KC Deliverance, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. No, that's not the kind of game for me. Those games are tough, and I'm not interested in a game that's gonna just frustrate me. So, no, I'm passing on that one. Grand Moff Porkins, of all the things Valve is teasing or we're all inferring, which big announcement do you think will actually happen first? SteamOS kind of doesn't count. Yeah, I wouldn't say that SteamOS counts because we already know when that's happening. That's going to happen by May, I believe. I think that... Which one's going to happen first? I think it's going to be a set-top box first. I think that's going to be the first one. Oh yeah, I teach geology, astronomy, and meteorology. Do I use Ecamm for the podcast? No, Chris, I don't use Ecamm for the podcast. I used to, and it's really, really good. But I switched to Riverside because I don't do it live. So we record and then I edit. And so just to give you guys an example, the last episode, which came out on Sunday, we sat down on Friday to record that. It's an 1.5-hour episode. And then after we record it, I download all the files and I import them into DaVinci Resolve. And then I start editing, and it took me roughly 4 hours to edit that show. But that's because there's 4 people. Plus, I have video game B-roll on top of those 4 people, and we were also going through and like giving letter grades to stuff. And I wanted to put the letter grades on screen at the same time, and so it was a lot of work. High school, James, high school. Bill, are you going to do a video about the setup here? Looks interested. You mean my studio here? Maybe if I ever hit 100,000 subs, maybe I'll do one of those at that point. I actually tried doing one once, but I didn't know what to talk about. So I was like, so here's my desk. And I couldn't think of what I wanted to say about it. I didn't feel like I had anything important to say about it. So I ended up just deleting all of the footage. What game am I playing the most at the moment? Started playing in Titanfall 2. So far, it's one of the many games you've missed over the years. So I have been playing a shitload of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Carrie, aka the Fox, he got it for me for Christmas because all the guys on the podcast exchanged Christmas gifts, essentially. He got me Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And wow, that game is fantastic. Although I am playing it on PC, and I definitely ran into issues yesterday. I was playing and textures, like it was loading in really low res textures, and then I was waiting for the high res textures to load in. And because I had the low res textures instead of the high res textures, I couldn't see some of the things, so I couldn't solve the puzzle. So what I had to do is I had to pause it, go into the settings, switch to different like rendering settings, and then switch back. And that forced it to update. Like I was also like seeing through the ground at some point. So it's a little buggy, but it's awesome. Justin Gray, I just got my first ultra wide monitor and I'm loving it. Have you ever tried one? I have not tried one, but as somebody who edits a lot of video, I really want one. Like what I would do if I got one is I would move my camera over here like that, and then I would have an ultra wide right here, and this is what it would like. This is what my videos would look like, would be off to the side instead of in the middle, because currently I've got two screens, one screen over here on the left, one screen over here on the right, and I usually take my camera and put it between those two. James Lewis, how many of my students listen to the NerdNest? I don't talk about my YouTube channel at work. I don't think it's appropriate for me to talk about my YouTube channel at work, and we have way too much to do when I'm at work anyway, so I don't have time for that. More Beta Prince says, what graphic card am I set up for Indiana Jones? I'm playing on the ROG Nook, which has a laptop 4070. So that's what I'm using. Anthrax 1028. What kind of camera am I using? This is the Sony a6700 with a boy, I haven't talked about this in a long time. With what lens am I using? With this lens, which is a Sigma 16mm f1.4, 16mm f1.4, and then on that, I have a black mist filter, which if you look at this light right here, you can see how it's kind of glowing a little bit. See that glow around it? That's because of the filter that I have on the lens. And then there's also what's the other kind of filter? So I got a black mist filter, and then there's another kind of filter on there, an ND filter, a neural density filter. So I can adjust the brightness of the camera just by spinning that filter. So now it's cut out everything, and then I can twist it back the other way to bring it back up. And my top-down camera is a Sony a6400, which is mounted up above my desk right. It's not hooked up, so I can't put it on screen. And whenever I'm using that, I use a Tamron 17 to 70mm f2.8. Zach Hollercheck, do I EQ my mic? Audio always sounds crisp. Well, in my videos, I do post-processing on it, but right now you are listening to the raw audio of my Shure SM7B going near the Rodecaster Pro 2. Chris Stamp, I often think, when will a sponsor upgrade my aging 2060 PC? Well, fingers crossed, maybe someday. Yeah, missing cred. You're right. It's because I don't have enough VRAM probably. Everything's going very well, Geek Mystique. Long time no see. Happy to see you. Greetings from Hawaii. I'm not Russ. Well, I'm glad that you are aware that you're not Russ. Who made my background music that's going right now? It is actually Stream Beats by Harris Heller. And the song is called Synthwave Go Burr. Which I actually have to turn up so I can hear it just a little bit better. The fan behind you is mesmerizing. This, I want to replace this with something where you can't see it spinning. It's also, if I could lift it up just a little bit to get rid of it, to get it out of the shot, God, I would be so happy. I hate having this fan in the shot. But we put that fan in back when my whole studio was over there. And so like I sat right underneath the fan, and so you could never see it. But now it's behind me, and so you see it sometimes. But Ryan, I was actually stationed in Hawaii when I was in the Army. I was at Kania. What's wrong with the fan? Because it's in the shot. You could see it spinning and it's distracting. But yeah, Indiana Jones. Yeah. Rue Arnold, you just finished Indiana Jones? I think I'm close. I just solved the puzzle with the 3 keys and the different shapes. I'm trying to be nebulous about my answer, about what I'm saying, so that I don't spoil anything for anybody. Such a freaking good game. And holy cow, the voice actor, Troy Baker, I think maybe, he sounds just like Harrison Ford. Oh, the lenses, shoot, I don't even, hold on, let me see if I can find it on Amazon, because that's where I bought them. I'll give you links to them because they're great. I freaking love them. Filter. What do we got? Okay, so that's my black mist filter, and then here's the ND filter. All right. So get link, copy. All right, so this is for the black mist filter. Oh, I can't paste into that chat. Well, that's stupid. All right, I'll do it here. And then this is the ND filter. Get link, copy, close, close. There you go. At this rate, it seems like it would be a shorter list of places you weren't stationed in the Army. Well, I guess you're not necessarily wrong about that, but or no, you're absolutely wrong about that. So I was stationed in Missouri, as we like to call it, for basic training, Fort Leonard Wood, and then I went to Texas, Goodfellow Air Force Base, for my to learn how to be a cryptographer, and then I went to Arizona. Down near Nogales, and that's where I did some other training, and then went to airborne school at Fort Benning, and then I went to Hawaii. So 5 places. I've asked Lloyd if he wants to be on the show a few times. He's perfectly happy just not making content anymore. And who voiced Sean Connery? Who voiced Sean Connery? What? Wait. Oh, spoilers, man. Well, I called it misery because I was in, basic training. It was miserable. Sounds ominous. It wasn't ominous. It's good. Hello there, Tom Sutton. How you doing? Love the show. Watching from the UK weekly. Talking about fans. Why do you have two fans running that are wearing a coat and a hat? Because I like the feel of the cool air on my face. This isn't a coat. It's really more of a shirt. But I was a little chilly. Tom Sutton, how's the knee recovery? It's been bad, man. My knee is pretty messed up. I may need to have surgery again, and I might have to have surgery on my elbow again. But I am going back to PAX this year. Looking forward to it. How did I become friends with Russ, Rich, and Carrie? So we were all making Steam Deck themed content for a while, and High Tech Low Life, who if you don't subscribe to, you should subscribe to their channel. They made like a Discord, and well, actually, they made like a group chat, and we all kind of joined the group chat to talk about Steam Deck stuff. And then, Steam Deck HQ made like a Discord for us all to chat in. And I was like, I wanted to restart my podcast. And I just, on a whim, I asked the guys whose stuff I watched the most, which was Carrie, Russ, Rich, and Kyle. And I said, hey, do you guys want to be on episode 1 of the NerdNest podcast? And they said, yes, let's do it. So then episode 2 came up. And they said, oh, hey, let's, are we doing it next week too? And I was like, oh, yeah, you guys are always welcome. I didn't actually plan on having them on every week. I'm super grateful that they want to come back every week and talk about video game stuff with me because it's so fun talking to them. But that wasn't my plan to begin with. Nucleosynthesis. Do we ever hang out outside of work circumstances? I mean, we chat like almost every day on Discord, but do we hang out? Well, we all live very far away from each other, so no. Blue Broham, have I continued using the alpaca controller after your video about it? It keeps popping up in my recommendation every few months. It's really cool, but I don't like wires. So if they make a wireless one, then I'll probably give it another shot. But I don't like having to get it out and plug wires in each time. You know what I mean? Have I considered other sponsors like Factor or one of those game drink companies just trying to get you more money? I mean, I've had plenty of sponsors. I don't want to talk about who I'm currently working with at this point. You'll see in the future, which sponsorships come up. I'm just happy that you guys tolerate me putting in my little sponsor spots in order to, help make these videos happen. Mysack, you want to be on the show one day? Well, I don't know, man. I only invite on people whose stuff I watch. Hello there, Jasper. How you doing? What gaming thing am I most excited for in 2025? You mean like video game or like gear? Because that's a big difference. If we're talking about what game am I most hyped for, let me bring up my show notes. Click. So I don't know how many of you saw this, but let me hit. Where is it? Is it here? Here we go. So if you look at this, it's currently like my tier list for the games that are coming out this year. And we got a bunch down here. last episode of the podcast, we went through and we talked about, where these things land on our hype meter. So for me, S tier, I don't know why that says must play. S tier is Judas and Doom the Dark Ages right now. I put Split Fiction at A. Ghosts of Yotai, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, and Avowed are B tier. Assassin's Creed Shadows is C tier because I'm not really all that interested in it. Outer Worlds 2, I'm less interested in. GTA 6, I'm not interested in it at all. So like that's how far we got, but we still have all these games, and that's next episode. That's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to finish filling out these lists. By the way, if you want to make your own, let me do this. If you want to make your own hype list, you guys can click on that link right there and you can make your own hype list. And then I don't know how many of you are aware, but on the phone, if you go to my YouTube channel on your phone, I have to take off my glasses for this so I can actually see it. And I'm going to go to my YouTube channel, where the hell is it? View channel. And then underneath posts. See posts right there? Underneath posts, we've got this new community thing where you can post things. So if I go back, you can see that Bruno posted a picture of his baby watching the podcast. And you guys can do your hype list and then post the screenshot of that hype list on our community so we can all talk about, why you're wrong about Judas not being S tier. Frank Beasy says, "Hey, Bill, greetings from California. I used to live in California not when I was in the Army, but I used to live in Los Angeles when I lost my job working for an internet company. I just jumped in the car and went out to LA with my friend. But anyway, hey, Bill, greetings from California. Should I get an ROG Ally X or wait for Lenovo Legion Go 2? I feel like I can't answer that question yet because the Legion Go 2 is not out yet. So it's tough. It's tough for me to make that recommendation. You know what I mean? Rue Arnold says, spoilers, Bill, I've not watched that episode yet. That's okay, because Rich, Carrie, and Russ also went through that hype list with me, and they made their own lists. So you'll still have some surprises. No case on that phone? Yeah, I don't use a case on the phone, and I use like the little Apple Wallet on the back. Jasper says, if it was Outer Wilds 2 and not Outer Worlds 2, you would have been super excited. We actually talked about that during the episode. The moon haunts you? Are you talking about Marvel Rivals? I keep seeing people talk about how overpowered Moon Knight is. I don't like his kit. What's Judas? It's Judas is the next game from Ken Levine, who made BioShock and BioShock Infinite. One of my all-time favorite video game moments is in the first BioShock. That moment when the door opens and you see that thing written on the wall, and I will not spoil it for you, but you see that thing written on the wall and you're like, oh, I understand now. When that happens, is just such a satisfying moment. I absolutely loved it. Oh, look at that. You guys can you guys can thumbs up people's super chats? That's cool. Any plans to review TMR controllers? What's a TMR controller? Tom Sutton, other than Animal Well, what's my favorite indie? Ooh. Oh shoot, what's the name of that? There's one that nobody played. There's actually two that nobody played, and I cannot. Where's my? What is the name of that game? I gotta find out the name of the game. So I gotta turn on my ally so that I can look it up. One of them is called Chromagun. If you've played Portal, where you get a gun that can shoot portals, right? Chromagun, you get a gun that can shoot colors, and you get 3 colors that you can shoot: red, blue, and yellow. Right? Those are the primary colors, right? Red, blue, and yellow. I think so. You can shoot those primary colors, but then you can mix the colors together. So I can shoot blue, and then I can shoot red, and that makes purple. And you have to solve puzzles using the gun to mix different colors in order to see, in order to solve that that puzzle. It's called Chromagun, and spoilers, there's a sequel coming. All right, a really, really good game. Then the other one, I have to go to my library, and I got to take off my glasses because I'm an old man and I can't see with my glasses on up close. I cannot remember the name of this game. Oh no, that's installed. All games. Here we go. What is the name of this game? Antichamber. Antichamber is another first-person puzzle game, and it is really, really difficult to explain how the game works. If you are familiar with the paintings and drawings done by MC Escher, it is a first-person puzzle game where you are in what is essentially an MC Escher painting or drawing, and you're just like, holy cow, the puzzle design is so freaking good that if you haven't played it, you're missing out. And yes, it is old. Thanks, Nucleosynthesis. I try and do that when I can. TMR uses less electricity than Hall effect. So what does TMR stand for? No, I'm pretty sure it's... What are the primary colors? You are. Wait. No, I was right. Primary colors are yellow, blue, and red. A lot of people think it's RGB because of computers. But primary colors are yellow, blue, and red. So you mix yellow and blue together to make green. Like Ziploc bags. Am I getting an XG Mobile 2025 with a 5090? I mean, I can't afford it. I'm a teacher. So probably not unless Asus sends it to me. Any thoughts on the Switch 2 pricing, given the recent tariffs and the weak yen US dollars? I don't know. I think that what will happen, I don't know. It's going to be bad. I think the price of everything's going to go up and it's going to suck. TMR stands for tunneling magneto resistance. Okay. I know nothing about TMR controllers. Hey, Bill, what is new in the actual NerdNest attic? What's new in here? I'll show you. I'll go get something that's... Here you go. This is pretty new. Benny Goodman, Bluebird, got it for $1. Volume 2, 1935 to 1936. Fantastic 2-disc album. I'm just going to put this back. Due to tariffs, physical games will be more expensive? Yeah, likely, because most of them are manufactured in Mexico. Okay, Nucleosynthesis is asking a good question. I'm going to turn that into a poll. Plus, start a poll. All right. You love anything, Benny? Well, I mean, I can understand why. Will you be getting an Ioneo 3 for review by any chance? Looks awesome, but extremely expensive. I don't know. Like, they sent me the Ioneo Pocket DMG. They sent me the Pocket Evo. I did do a video where I basically, you know, talked about the overheating issue on their devices. Maybe if they send me one, I'll obviously make a review of it because it's enjoyable to, you know, look at this new stuff. But I don't know. I don't, like, they haven't told me that they're getting ready to send me anything. Thunderbolt 5 might replace Oculink. Maybe. I don't know enough about that. I saw somebody asked earlier, do I think Oculink will make it into more stuff? I don't think so. You ask the average person walking down the street, have you heard of Oculink? They will say no. Have you heard of Thunderbolt? Way more people will say yes. Justin Gray says Switch 2 is going to be $400. I think $400, $450. It would be hard to sell the Switch 2 for $500, knowing that you could instead buy a PS5 or an Xbox. On top of that, another reason that it's tough is that so much more than the OLED Switch, and the OLED Switch, like it has that fantastic OLED screen. Now, if the Switch 2 ships, you guys want to see the Switch 2? If the Switch 2 ships with an OLED screen, here's the Switch 2 right here. If it ships with an OLED screen, ooh, that would be very, very interesting. Bunch of people are probably like, "What the heck?" It's just a dummy. You got two dummies on screen right now. Dummy 1, Dummy 2. I don't think the Switch 2 is going to ship with OLED either. But the PS5 and Xbox doesn't have mouse Joy-Cons. You're right, but I think 99% of games are never going to use that mode. Aomander Rake says, what's my go-to handheld right now? ROG LIX is the one that I use the most these days. Steam Deck is more comfortable, though. The reason that I use the ROG LIX way more than the Steam Deck is because it has a 2280 drives in it. And so I was able to get a massive 4 terabyte drive, and it didn't break the bank to put in there. So it has all of my games and all of my retro games on there. It's just really great. If the when the next Steam Deck comes out, I really hope that they ditch the 2230 drives and go with 2280 instead. I don't think so, Spine. I know that you think that a lot of indie games are going to use the mouse mode. I don't think that most will, because most of them are made on Steam and then they get ported over to Switch, and they know that most people are going to play it with a controller on the Switch anyway. Maybe there's some that use the mouse, but if it's extra, it might be extra work in order to make that work on the Switch. And that's not something anybody's going to want to do when you can just say, well, I can just use the controller instead. Do I think we'll get a Steam console before Steam Deck 2? I do think so. Tom Sutton, what is the single most important aspect of a handheld for you? Battery, performance, screen? None of those. Comfort. Comfort is the single most important thing to a handheld. Will they make another Steam Deck? I think they will. I think Valve, they understand the mistake that they made with the what's the word I'm looking at? With the Steam machines, where they didn't make a system on their own. And so all of the hardware manufacturers, they priced them too high. And they priced them too high because they didn't have the Steam store in order to make up for pricing it low. So they have to make a profit. So they shipped these things and they were too expensive. And so nobody bought them. Nobody bought them because there was no Proton at the time. Now that you have Proton, and Valve has shown that they can make a cheap system that runs really well, I think that Valve has to keep doing that, if for no other reason than it pushes more people to use SteamOS. Okay, more beta prints. You're not wrong. I guess my most convenience is the number one. Number two is comfort. Convenience, comfort, battery life, screen, power. In that order. Steam console for $400. I think $500 would be a better idea. First purchase game on Steam, mine would be Half-Life 2. That's a good order. Thank you, Nucleosynthesis. What about fan noise? I mean, fan noise is definitely important, but unless it's really loud, most of the time you can't hear it over the video game playing anyway. Hang on, I gotta text my wife. All right. So, listen, everybody. I warned you at the beginning that this was going to be a short stream. I'm going to be wrapping things up now. Let me make sure that I'm still okay. Wrapping things up now. I really do appreciate you guys coming by with absolutely no notice. If you want to see more live streams, click that like button. And maybe I will continue to do this stuff in the future. This has been a shorter stream, like we are trying to see how long I went for. About an hour. Yeah, we streamed for about an hour. But I appreciate you guys hanging out. Hanging out with me. Stay rad. Bye-bye, everybody. Now I just got to find the button to stop the stream. It's been so long since I did a stream, I can't remember.